Before getting into this video, I want to send my best regards and wishes to Randy Moss and the entire Moss family, as Randy Moss at this time is dealing with a bit of a medical deal, and I really hope that he pulls through and is as awesome as ever afterwards. Randy Moss, a legend in the NFL, one of, if not the most electrifying wide receivers ever, the SuperFreak, and a NASCAR fan. Growing up in Rand, West Virginia, Randy Moss was interested in racing for a long time. And when he got older, got some money under him, and got a lot of free time, he would end up investing into NASCAR. 2007, in many ways, was the most successful year for Randy Moss's career. 23 touchdowns, part of the 16-0 New England Patriots team, and was the beginning of him getting into the NASCAR business. Now, to understand the team and the setting that Randy Moss jumped into, you have to also understand, one, the person he was, and two, the team he was jumping into. Moss, again, was the most electrifying wide receiver of the late 90s and 2000s. He actually had a verb named after him. Jumping over somebody and posterizing him, well, that was called getting mossed. And to this day, it's something that wide receivers basically have a goal to do at any point with a jump-up ball. And with that, with the Minnesota Vikings and the New England Patriots, Moss easily cemented himself as a Hall of Fame player. But also, on the NASCAR side, the team he would eventually jump into was Morgan Dollar Motorsports, a successful truck team. In 2004 and 2005, this team actually finished second in the point standings with Dennis Setzer as their driver, losing by 55 points in 2005 and by 46 points in 2004, easily within striking distance of a championship at year's end. This team had drivers like Setzer and Almirola, guys who were talented and ran well in their younger years like Almirola did, but also stars of the Cup Series like Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte, Denny Hamlin, Clint Bowyer, Tony Stewart, and others. The team, though, was starting to slow at the end of the 2000s. Rob Morgan had left the team in 2004 for the most part, and by 2008, the team didn't even have a full-time driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And at that time, Randy Moss was exploring a jump to NASCAR. He had announced the formation of Randy Moss Motorsports on April 29th of 2008, and in July of the same year, he would buy a 50% stake in Morgan Dollar Motorsports and have it renamed fully to Randy Moss Motorsports. And he would have his team rebranded to the number 81, just like his number with the New England Patriots. And he even was the car owner for Jimmie Johnson in his one and only NASCAR Truck Series start at the Bristol Motor Speedway. But his tenure in NASCAR was just getting started. In 2009, he had two full-time trucks with drivers Taylor Malsom and Mike Skinner. Skinner was the clear favorite and top guy of the team in the number 5 truck, getting the team's first official victory at Kansas, where they, for 1 week, took the points lead of the Truck Series. And they would run top 3 to 5 in points basically all season long, finishing a distant third behind Matt Crafton and dominant champion Ron Hornaday that year. But in a late-season interview, it was more clear what Moss's role was when, in an interview with the Oklahoman co-owner David Dollar, had said that Moss was more or less somebody who was good for sponsor outreach, brand recognition, and his popularity skyrocketed how interested people, whether it be sponsors or fans, were with the team. And you saw that, as in early 2009, a Truck Series team owner in Randy Moss was on trackside. And what you also have to remember around that time is that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series was a much bigger series than it is today. While having the same amount of races, this series had around an average of 35,000 in attendance for every race, according to Racing Reference. And based on some cursory viewership data at the time, it looked that they had a lot more at least than today, close to that million mark. More or less, this series was about the same size as a larger NASCAR Xfinity Series race today or a small Cup race today. That's how big the Truck Series and NASCAR as a whole was at the time. But in 2010, the high would die down. The fall off for both Moss and the team was starting up. In the NFL, Randy Moss was starting to spiral out of control, causing media problems in New England and being traded back to his old stomping grounds in Minnesota, where he and Brett Favre continued to go down in their careers for a couple weeks before being unceremoniously traded to Tennessee, which then would lead to his retirement for a year of the NFL. And the team went from a championship contending one and a race winning one to a winless team and a bottom tier top 10 driver points team with Mike Skinner and David Starr. And in 2011, with less performance and sponsorship, the team went back to part-time, though not by their own accord. They were going to have two full-time teams again. Taylor Malsom was going to be full-time before DNQing the opening two races, finishing poorly at Darlington, and the team itself shutting down with no press release really or anything. Travis Kvapil would run in the 5 truck for the opening couple races of the year, but after 10 races, he was 18th in the point standings. The team had taken yet another step down, and the next week would not show up and wouldn't show up for the remainder of the season. There wasn't much news about Randy Moss Motorsports for the remainder of 2011 into 2012 when Moss was starting to get back into the NFL. And it wouldn't be until February of 2012 that there would be any confirmation on the team's future from Ray Dunlap, who had simply said, "Equipment sold, building locked, team defunct." And with that, a team that had so much press and so much positive energy back in 2008 was gone by 2012. Since then, Moss really hasn't spoken much on this issue from really any public sources I could find. The most he really had said was that stepping out of his comfort zone and coming over to NASCAR was, quote, uncertain and nerve-wracking. But for somebody like Randy Moss, who had come from nothing, it definitely had to be a dream come true. And having been a NASCAR fan and been able to talk to people that he only had dreamt of seeing on TV at times, like Joe Gibbs, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and others, it must have been an insane experience. But that was the experience that the SuperFreak had in NASCAR. So with that, I want to pass this on to you and ask you the question. Who are the most unique team owners that you can remember? We got guys today like Pitbull or Michael Jordan, but who are some others that popped up through the years that you remember? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for continued support, and until next time, have a good one.